Welcome to the Channeling Spirit Virtual Summit, a platform where we have invited Spirit to share messages, healings, and transmissions with all of us. May this energetic experience help us to expand our awareness and to deepen the relationship we have with our higher self, our spiritual team, and with Source, however we define them. Thank you for being here and for taking part in this amazing journey. Hello and welcome back to the Channeling Spirit Virtual Summit. My name is Daniel Martinez-Stahl. We are on Season 5, Episode 10, the first session of Day 4. As we go into Day 4, I always start getting a little kind of, bittersweet and kind of feeling the end is near. And I am well aware of being in the present moment and enjoying the conversations, and I cannot tell you how excited I am to have this conversation with Heidi Sue. She and I spoke 2 seasons ago, loved our conversation, and I had a great time with her. And so I'm looking forward to seeing what comes out today. So I'll let her introduce herself to you guys, and then we will go from there.
Okay. Thank you, Daniel. It's an honor to be here with you. I really appreciate this platform that you provide for us to have this space, to have that sacred space, to feel safe, to have those sacred conversations. And so thank you for that. And so for those of you who don't know me yet, my name is Heidi Sue, and I am known, someone called me a heart whisperer, which was a really neat compliment. So I have the ability to read into people's heart space. And then there's also a team of heart healers I work with who come through with channeling messages and help to let us know what is it that we need to know about ourselves, some guidance for ourselves, those kind of things. So, and I'm honored to be here with you, with those heart healers. They're all here today. And so today, the topic is you on purpose. And that speaks to aligning all those life experiences that you've had. Where are you in this moment right now? And I invite you to take a moment to just consider, where are we, all of us, the collective we in this group, in this moment on our journey regarding our reason for being. And if you're here on the replay, this includes you as well. So let's tune in. Where are we on our own personal journeys regarding our reason for being? Some of us may know exactly what it is we're meant to do. Some of us may not have ever thought about it, but wonder, what is it? Why am I here? Some people may know what they're supposed to do, but just can't get the action steps in place to bring it into manifestation, to be able to live it as a real life. So there's lots of different places where we all are on our own journey. Some of us may not realize that everything we've been doing, even if it's supporting someone else, being a caregiver, raising children, supporting a spouse, or just supporting the environment, whatever activities they do, that might be their being, whereas something within themselves might feel like, isn't there something more that I should be doing? So I want to take this moment to read this love letter for you. And this love letter is for you, both live and on the replay. The heart healers have come together and created this letter, and it's unique and specific for all of you listening. So go ahead and close your eyes and be open and hear this love letter that is coming to you right now. Thank you. You are incredibly worth it, loved one. The universe has your back. Trust. Trust that you are supported. Trust that you are cherished. your trust in the unseen ways of your being supported is guiding you to your highest calling, which provides abundance and many joyful moments. The steps and the decisions are definitely scary, but that's where trust comes in. Trust plus faith plus action equals grace plus harmony. Okay, go ahead and open your eyes and come back into this here now moment. And at this moment, I invite you to feel within yourself. It's just something within yourself that completely resonates 100% with that. Do you believe those words? Or is there a little tickle, a little niggle, or something that it's a little bit challenging for you to accept all of those words as they are intended? What is your initial reaction to your own heart's love letter? That love letter came from your heart space. Okay, so I'm going to open up the line now, and each one of you are able to raise your hand and do a live one-on-one session where something will come through. I'd like to listen to your thoughts about that love letter for you. And then at the end of the process, with each one-on-one, everyone can listen, everyone is supportive. You may hear something for someone else that resonates within you. You are meant to hear that. And then as we get closer to the end, Daniel will let us know when we've got about 15 minutes left, and then we will do a group process. Does that sound good to everyone? Okay.
Sounds good.
If you would like to have a one-on-one, a reading of your heart space and where you at with your purpose work, go ahead and raise your hand. And you could do that by, if you're on the Zoom screen, down at the bottom, there's an option that says participant and raise hand. Or if you want to open up your video and show a hand waving, that's fine. I'll let Daniel let me know where everyone is with their hands raised. Now, I do see somebody already with their hand raised. Is it okay to proceed with Sally, Daniel?
Absolutely, yeah. So my question to those that are listening, if you guys are okay with me putting you on video, turn your video on. If your video stays off, then I won't bring you on video. That way I don't need to ask you guys every time if it's okay for me to put you on video. All right. So Sally, I am bringing you on and you have the floor.
Hi, Sally. And you may need to unmute yourself there, Sally.
Yeah, I've done that.
Okay, great. All right. So tell me how that love letter was for you.
Oh, could you move to somebody else? Sorry, because I just jumped in. I was a bit late, so I didn't hear it all. Sorry.
Actually, this is perfect. This is perfect.
Right.
I'm glad. I just needed to hear it. And that's the thing. What happens is sometimes I hear the vibration through people's voices and their aura.
Right.
So
okay.
Tell me about why you want me to move to someone else.
Oh, well, because when you're asking me about the letter you just read, it's only because I was late. I was late for class, so I didn't hear your first bit. Apologies.
How does it feel to know that you are in perfect timing? Do you feel like you are in perfect timing?
I guess so.
Okay, so go ahead, and if I invite you to go ahead and close your eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm giving permission to the heart healers and tuning in to your higher self, my higher self, to your higher self, Sally. And so the message from the heart healers is saying that you actually already know what it is you are to be doing, and you're already doing parts of it. And there's a piece coming through where it feels like you should be doing way more than you're already doing. But actually there's a whole nother layer of the steps that need to be done. For example, if someone is building a house, they don't build the second and the third floor first before they finish building the foundation and the first floor. And so the steps are already in place for you going up there. And I see as a young child wanting to run up the step, but there's no landing, there's no foundation. And so this feeling like, am I late? Am I missing something? You're not. You're actually in perfect timing. You do have some responsibilities. They're karmic in design, but they are responsibilities that want you embrace doing those as a full, complete attention of yourself instead of resenting it. Then everything gets built, everything proceeds, and everything will open up in the most unbelievable that you can't even imagine how it will open up. In fact, you don't even see the relationship, how it could possibly be opening up, and it really is. So that's what's coming through for you from the heart healers. Okay.
So I can relate to everything you said then. Thank you so much.
All right. So just embrace that. Just know that you are in the right place at the right time. And the activities you are doing right now that doesn't seem to be on your path really is on your path. It doesn't look like it. It doesn't feel like it. But the moment, so I'm getting this phrase, bloom where you're planted. So at the moment you bloom, okay, here I am. Use me, allow me to be of service with whatever this is that you're having to deal with. It feels yucky to you, but it actually is the fertilizer to your growth.
Wow.
Okay.
Gosh, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You made me tingle all over because you're so, relate to really to all of that. So thank you so much.
Yeah, well, thank you to the heart healers. So yeah, just keep touching in with your heart. And so now I'm going to move on to the next person. And then once we get through everyone, we will do a group process for everyone to help really embrace and help us know that we're in the right place at the right time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sally. Okay, the next person I see is Cheryl. Cheryl, go ahead and unmute yourself. If you are okay with the video, you can release the video or just at least unmute yourself, please.
Okay, I'm unmuted.
Hi, Cheryl.
I'm working in my yard, so I kind of look like poo-poo, so that's why I didn't want to put a video on.
Heidi, we can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
No, Heidi, I couldn't. She
Me?
just said something.
Okay.
There we go. You're back.
Okay.
You're back.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, that was
okay.
for you, Daniel. I could hear.
Thank you. So now, Cheryl, tell me how that love letter was for you. As it would be in red, as your heart was telling you this love letter about yourself, there's something that came up for you. Tell me a little bit more about that.
I guess it would be that I know I'm worthy. I know I'm where I'm supposed to be. I just don't have a definitive route. Or if I know I'm not doing anything wrong and I know I'm going where I'm supposed to go. I don't know. That's
okay.
confusion, I guess.
Got confusion. Okay, I got that. I got what's coming through. So here's a message that's coming through for you from the heart healers. They're asking you to check in with what your current support group looks like, feels like to you right now. You may feel like I have a support team, but you really don't have the full-fledged support team that can lift you up. For example, some of us may be comfortable, we're in the right relationship, everything's going great, but sometimes there may be some little nudges that are either boring or frustrating or just like a comfortable shoe. It's just like this sense of I'm not feeling invigorated. I'm not being challenged enough. That's what's coming through. Is I'm not being challenged enough. You have a great support structure, but it is not the support structure that helps you with the spiritual gift, your spiritual gift assignments and those kinds of things. So it's almost like you're just, I don't want to use the phrase laying low, but you're just going with the flow kind of thing, just going with the flow. A lot of people have it worse than I do. I have it good. I'm doing great. I don't want to rock the boat. I'm doing fine. But what's happening is you're becoming stagnant and your heart is excited for you. But at the same time, there's an element of fear of change and the fear of they're just afraid, you know, jumping from the fire into the, from the frying pan into the fire. And so there's this challenge, but sometimes that fire is that passion. That's what needs to come up. And you'll find that within a support structure of somebody who will challenge you. And so what's coming through is don't run away from that challenge. It's going to be someone you can't stand. It's going to be someone who exasperates you. But at the same time, that person has you thinking and reacting differently than you've had with everything else you have built on all through your life to this moment. And so, yes, you're doing wonderful. You're in the perfect place right now. Just know that this is coming up. This will be coming up. And embrace that passion. Embrace that friction, if you will. Does
Wow,
that resonate?
Yeah, but I don't want to do that.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And so that's okay if you don't want to do that. You'd have to be prepared to embrace the consequences. Do I want to stay comfortable or do I want to be in a different place 5 years from now?
But you were talking about me going up against somebody that I don't like.
It's going to feel like you don't like this person, but then you're going to be surprised to realize you really respect this person. And it could be somebody, let's see, it's somebody you already know. It is not someone you already know. You already know someone and it's a mutual acquaintance, but it's not someone you immediately know. You might, you know, that kind of thing. But it's going to be one of those, oh, I don't think so. And then you just keep bumping into them and then you'll realize, I can't stand that person. And then one day, wow, I have a lot of respect for that person, because at that point you'll be able to look back and realize that that person was your catalyst for completely thinking differently. I'm not saying all your relationships will change. That's not what I'm saying here. What I'm saying is you're going to meet someone who's going to rub you the wrong way, but that person is the catalyst and you will come to respect that person for helping you find different ways of experiencing your own ideas and your own creativity.
Okay. So you're telling me it's not somebody that I already know?
It is not someone you already know on a first name basis, but you do have a mutual acquaintance.
Okay, that's easier. I can totally accept that. Thank you.
So yeah, it's something to think about, acceptance, but that'll come up in the group process because a lot of times we have a hard time accepting our own brilliance. So that'll be coming up.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Right. You're welcome. Okay. The next person is Janice. Janice, I would love to hear your voice and see your video if possible.
Hello. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Janice. So how was that? How was that your own heart love letter to you?
I actually did not hear it. I was also trying to join in and didn't get connected in time.
Okay.
But I resonate with the message you had for the other lady that said that.
Okay. So this is perfect. Yours has a little bit more of an element of you weren't ready to hear it. Whereas the first person who was just sliding in, sliding into the classroom just when the bell rang, yours what's coming through right now is this feeling of not being ready to recognize how absolutely brilliantly beautiful you are. You are absolutely brilliantly beautiful, Janice. There is a gentleness, there is a softness, but that softness is what turns you away from other people. It's just like you're not comfortable with that part of yourself. And yet that
Take me off your list.
Yeah. That is your gift, is that softness. And what coming through is sometimes you feel railroaded or run over or just not appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
But your softness is your gift. Okay? So
Okay.
just keep listening. You can go ahead and mute. Whatever comes up, please let it all out. And that's for everyone. A lot of times our physical body, when we have tears, when we want to blow our nose, those are the most beautiful sounds in the world, because that is releasing a lot of that stuck energy within our physical body structure. So I love it. When I do the forgiveness prayers and ancestral clearing, those sounds tells me things are being stirred up and being released out. That tickle in the throat, cough it out. So I love body sound, right? I'm just going to put it out there. I love body sound. My husband had the burp, and to me, they're the most beautiful sound, because he almost died with his stomach being twisted. There's movement. So I love those sounds. And so, Janice, please release all of that. Do not sniffle. Do not stuff it in. Just release it all out and just embrace that most beautiful, gentle, soft heart that you are. And that is a gift in of itself, that you soften the world around you. And that's why everything feels so rough to you. It's because you're the opposite. You're the absolute opposite. And so imagine, if you will, oh my goodness, it's being so rough. I am just run over by it. But once they come through you, they're not as rough as they were when they first started. You don't add fuel to their roughness. You are actually adding an element of toning down. They may continue to be rough, but you're actually toning it down. And as time goes on, you'll become stronger in your own container for being that soft being that helped change and soften the world around you. Okay, the next person is Cinnamon. And Cinnamon, you're already unmuted. So how is that love letter from your heart to yourself?
Well, I feel like I joined the club if I didn't hear it. But my reasoning was listening mentally to your conversation that you and Daniel were having, and I went and looked him up so I could send him some notes of what I heard.
Perfect. So, all right, so let me tune in with you, Cinnamon, my higher self, your higher self, and what the heart healers are saying. So, is this a cliche? No, it's not a cliche. Okay, I wanted to verify. So what's coming through is there's a sweetness. So do you do a lot of things with, I recognize your name as Cinnamon, and I want to make sure it's not spelled the same way, but I want to make sure it's not because I'm thinking cinnamon on, cinnamon cookies. But what's coming through is the heart healers are showing that you actually do magic with food. It's like you do something, I don't know if it's baking, but when you are in act of service, that's how your magic comes through for people. That's your part of your purpose, is those food gifts. Does that resonate with you?
Yeah, I actually like to do like what I call a skullicious Christmas, where I make everything in Gothic or skull shaped, or I put in pentagrams, or I put sigils underneath the pies, or I'm a terrible cook, but they're visually fun.
Okay, so that's what's coming through is when you are doing those, that the essence of your heart space, which is that source of divine unconditional love, is resonating. You're actually a conduit. And so as you are bringing that through, you may not even realize it, but as you are creating those shapes, creating those offerings for other people to consume, even if you think you're not a good cook, it's not necessarily cooking, but it's more on the baking and the gifting side. So that's what's coming through.
I absolutely put the magic within. It's definitely one of my things.
Okay, all right. So let's see, is there any more information about that coming through? So it's wanting you to keep going with that. And you actually are going to be able to add an element, a whole new layer of service with that. You're going to be expanding your reach, expanding your audience of people that you do this, and you're going to find it actually going to get easier when just you are in your element doing those gifts. You're going to start to get a lot of opportunities and a lot of things coming through. And the neat thing about it is the heart healers is showing me the cinnamon. And what's interesting is cinnamon helped with diabetes. So even though it, sweetness, people should reduce the sugar, what you do is actually a healing effect with those food items being gifted. And so it's no wonder you've got that name. So it's just really interesting. Is that your given name, or was that just a name you picked up in life?
I got it in a dream. It's my first and my last name put together.
Oh, wow.
Actually
wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, Spirit's cool.
Okay. Thank you, Cinnamon. So stay tuned for the group process. And now we will continue on. We've got a few more people here. So the next person is Karen. So Cinnamon, I don't know if you want to lower your hand or if Danielle can do that. And I'm checking to make sure I'm still being heard. Danielle, am I still being heard? Okay, thank you. Thank you for that thumbs up. All right, Karen, tell me how your heart story was for you.
It's something that I want to believe in, and I can't.
Okay,
somehow.
All right, that's honest. That is honest, and I appreciate that honesty. Tell me more about not being able to believe in it.
I'm at a crossroads in my life right now.
Okay.
Just made major changes, and I have no sense of direction. And I'm just going through a lot of challenges at the moment, so just I'm a little lost.
So thank you for sharing that with me. So what's coming through is exhausting. You're just exhausted.
Yeah.
All right, let me tune in that. So there's something about the environment. So this is happening on multiple levels for you. So there's a situation with the physical environment and the spiritual environment. And actually the relationship environment, the environment of those we are with, the environment of where we are spending the majority of our time.
Yes.
And then also the environment of the unseen realm, that there's a sunshine, but we're not seeing the sunshine. We keep seeing that cloud, that dark cloud blocking here. So let me tune in. Just give me a moment, please. And what's coming through is intense grief. And there's a huge grief. It's like this gloomy cloud. It's just the grief won't lift. And we want to honor that grief. It was a very significant loss.
Yes.
And it's something that what's coming through is just not ready to let it go yet, because that the relationship or whatever we are losing was incredibly special to us, that it also was forming our identity. Yes. And that happens. A lot of times we will put ourselves in a situation, whether it's a relationship or an activity. Some people who create a business and then lose their business, they're having a grief process with that as well, because that was their identity. And so I want to honor you in this moment, because there's a grief process. There is someone here who actually is holding the hand of light out for you so that you can step up into the light level where they are. There's so much love for you, but it is an intense grief process. And there's something within what's coming through is the feeling if I just let go of this grief and move on, then they won't know how special this person was to me. And that's not the case. That person will always be that special to you. that person is always a gift to you. And it, you know, there is the raw pain of them not being right here, right now. At the same time, you're not alone. They are there with you. It's not the same as what we want. And so there is a grief process, and we do need to honor that grief process. And then once you go through the stages of grief, you'll be able to get to that light. But what I'm seeing and what the heart healers are showing is there is a light, and the light, the hand of light is being reached out for you to take, but when you're ready, and only when you're ready. And what's also coming through is, I don't know if you're a bathtub person, but taking a lot of salt baths would really help if you could add Epsom salt or sea salt, not both together, one or the other,
Okay.
with an intention to help break up those pieces in your aura and all your different levels, your levels of being.
That's actually the
And I
second
hear
time
you
that's been
chuckling.
mentioned.
What was it?
That's actually the second time it's been mentioned to me in about 2 days. So very
Oh, wow.
interesting. And
Okay.
it was my mom who passed in December,
Okay.
and I was her caregiver for 2 years. We lived together. So yeah,
There you go.
but thank you. Thank you for that.
And I'm glad your mom made you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So next up we have Kelly. Hi, Kelly. How was that love letter from your heart to you?
Hi, Heidi Sue. Yeah, this was so interesting. I actually felt myself going into my head as opposed to my heart, and I felt confused. And I don't even remember what was said. So the thing that came to mind, though, was really no clarity around my purpose.
Okay. Are you a twin?
No.
Okay. Do you have a very close sibling that sometimes, or a very close friend that sometimes you got confused as twins, or like teasing, like, oh, look at the two twins? There's something about twin coming through for you.
No,
Okay.
Nothing's coming to mind. That's interesting.
Okay, that is interesting. Okay, so give me a moment and let's tune in to the heart healers message coming through. Okay. So now when you say, I don't know what my purpose is that 100% true?
Not 100%. I feel like I probably have a lot of purposes, and then therefore I don't focus on maybe one, and I get a little distracted and scattered maybe. So that's maybe where some of the confusion comes in.
Okay. So this is what's interesting. This is so fascinating. Okay, so you are someone who has multiple streams of passion. And what's coming through is the heart healer is showing that you are all over the place. And then there's a twin of you. And what I'm seeing is you standing frontward, and then you, hologram, standing, and you're both back to back, and you have all your arms out, dabbling in all these different things. And so sometimes trying to do all of these different things, everything excites you. Everything you want to try at least once, or you can be good at it. And that's the thing about you, is you actually very easily pick up things, but it's the sustaining and the following through, and then get bored. I don't know if this is what I want to do the rest of my life. I want to do something else. And so that's why I keep seeing this twin, because it's like, oh, this is going to be boring. You take over. Okay, I'm going to do this. No, you take over. And that's what I'm seeing here. It's almost like an octopus, and there's a lot of energy with it. Oh my goodness, I can feel it, and I'm feeling it. There is a lot of energy coming through, but it is a scattered energy. So tell me a little bit more about being afraid of being bored of the same thing.
That's been like a lifelong thing. I put 150% into something, I succeed, and then the shine, it just comes off. I just fizzle. And then I go to create something new, and it's a pattern of just this ups and downs where it's really high, and then it can be really low. And I need that intellectual and kind of physical stimulation in what I'm doing. And when I don't get it, it just seems like I'm disappointed.
Okay, so that's okay. There's a couple of things happening here. One is there's the idea of a persona that's happening. It's like I'm afraid of committing because then I'll be trapped. And so that's a persona, which can be cleared away in a different session outside of this. But just recognize, you know, sometimes we have personas that's running us, which is why some of us have these roadblocks within ourselves. It's like, why did this keep happening? And that's a topic for another conversation. Danielle can save it for next time. That could be something I'd talk about in the future, but these idea of personas. So there is one running you at this moment. And then also what's happening is that's actually a gift to have the energy. So it seems like sometimes people feel overwhelmed with this offering that they have, but they need help putting it together. They need that energetic infusion. And that's where you come in, Kelly. It's like you are someone, not necessarily someone who's committed to creating something and making it last a lifetime and live off of that. That's not you. That's not how you are brilliantly designed. You are brilliantly designed to help people with the startups. You're the startup person. You love that energy. You love learning about new ideas, making it up, making it running, and then get that person launched. And then you will find another idea, another person, and that's what fuels you. Your heart is showing me, it's actually saying yes, 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 because sometimes we get misperceived as someone who is scattered, who doesn't commit to something, and for some reason that comes across as being someone irresponsible in society. But no, that's your brilliant design. That you on purpose is the catalyst to fuel someone to get them launched. And then once they go, then you help someone else launch. So you're like the fertilizer in all of the garden, and now all these flowers are popping up because of your passion and your infusion. Does that help?
Oh my God, that's so amazing, because when I think of my corporate career on projects, they have a beginning and an end. And I used to love planning, you know, the whole beginning and going through it. But then at the end, it would fizzle because you're done and you're moving on. You're celebrating and then you're moving on. So that makes so much sense. I need to apply that in my life now. Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay. So there will be opportunities coming up that now that you are aware of that and you have the framework, you can actually create a framework, a foundation of this being your business. That's going to be the success, because that's your offering. Is you're the startup girl.
Wow.
Okay.
Thank you, Heidi Sue. That's so amazing. Appreciate it.
Thank you, heart. Thank you, heart healers. Thank you. Okay. Next up, it looks like the last person. Are we doing good on time, Daniel?
Yes, absolutely. We've got plenty of time. And there's a few people that joined on the back end. So if you guys want to raise your hand to have a conversation with Heidi, feel free to raise your hand. Okay.
And then we'll do a group process for everyone at the end. Okay, Casey. Hi, Casey.
Hi.
Hi. So
nice to meet you.
You're so nice to meet you, Casey. So tell me, if you heard the love letter from your heart to yourself, how was that for you?
I heard it. It made a lot of sense. However, I don't relate to it personally. I'm kind of in the lost and how do I get there anyway situation.
Okay. So tuning in with you, my higher self to your higher self. So I'm seeing a lot of trees, like in the forest. This is interesting. It's kind of like there's a fairy tale called Little Red Riding Hood. And so there's a young female walking through the woods with a picnic basket. And so I see the image of in a thickly forested trees and someone walking through, but what they're doing is they're walking through the trees, like they're going around the trees. So let me see what is going on. That is actually intentional. So they are purposely walking slow so that they do not get to their destination. Okay, so so there is a destination. They're afraid of the destination. So that image that's coming through is there's this idea of this is what I'm supposed to be doing, but I don't want to be doing that. And so they'll create confusion or create a game of maze or create. So now what's coming through is that's actually part of the gift is the maze and the confusion is a game. It could be a gift, but that's not your true purpose. That's something you like to do is create games and create fun activity. Do you work with young children?
No.
No, okay. Do you work with a group? You know, we have a thing called Special Olympics here where I live, and it's people who are developmentally delayed.
Right.
Do you work with that group as well? Or no? No? Okay. All right.
I've been a caregiver, but just to two separate people, different times in my life, a long time, but no, nothing else like that.
So what was it like when you were in those moments? How did you recognize or feel about yourself when you were in those moments?
Overwhelmed, drained, depressed, worried about them. Happy to help, but I really didn't like it.
Okay.
I only did it because they were the close relationships. I mean, it's not a thing I want to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's what
too much.
Okay, that's right. Okay, so that's what it is that seems to be the destination is the light, the complete giving of self, but it is a persona. So this is a persona, but yes, there is an element of being completely lost, but there's a portion of it being lost on purpose and then creating a game of it, creating a maze and trying to just be that way because they don't want to, there's a fear of losing themselves in the task or in the activity or in the relationship. And so there's an intentional stifling of holding themselves back. And yet those scary moments, so this is one of those decisions with the heart healers and your heart letter was saying those decisions are completely scary. They are scary. But once you go through that decision, you are supported. There's a feeling of not being supported and not recognizing that you are supported in a way that you don't see it as support. You know, how many of us a lot of times feel like, well, we need to have support of our own family members. And yet it's the neighbor who supports us. It's somebody completely who is not close to us, but yet on an energetic realm, they support us the best. They're the one that are fueling us and supporting us, even when they just quietly do their own prayers or things like that. And we don't even realize they're doing that for us. And so that's what's coming through is this idea of, well, I'll just go this way, and then I'll go this way, and maybe they won't notice. And then okay, I'll peek out over here, and then I'm going to create this maze. And look at this wonderful thing I've created in the back end. And you are supporting others, but at the same time, it's an element of selling yourself short. And your heart is showing that, yes, you are in your element when you are providing that back end support, but it does not want you won't be fulfilled always being the back end supporter. There's you have some challenging decisions to make. What's coming through is these decisions are so scary that the message that's coming through that even no decision is a decision. And that's coming through very strongly. No decision is a decision. You can't just people will and do just leave it up to fate, or leave it up to, if it's meant to be, I'll be over here. But there does require that element of action. And if I could look at that love letter again, which I will repeat that part, it says, the steps and decision are definitely scary, but that's where the trust comes in. And this is the crucial part of the equation. Trust plus faith plus action equals grace plus harmony. And so I want you to honor yourself in this moment right here. Your heart is the most amazing thing here. So during the group process will be some feeling of what we call a heart tickle, and you may feel that your heart is going to get some relief. You may feel some sensation. You are on the right path, and it's never too late. So even if you all of a sudden realize, well, if I had been doing this all along, I could be in a different space, that's regret. You want to let go of the regret, and there will be an element of clearing regret in the group process. But I want you to know that, yes, you have the gift of creating mazes and games, but at the same time, it's holding you back for something even bigger. And it's okay.
I'm sorry.
Now, it's okay to not have all the answers and not have all the information you need to make that decision. What's also coming through is right now, you're not ready to make that decision, but it's coming. And just remember, no decision is a decision. So it's up to you to take that control in that moment, and you will know. Okay.
Do you have any idea about what direction or what this decision would be involved in?
You will know. You will know. Okay.
So would it have to do with anything that I used to do in my former life, going back to that I gave up because I said, well, I guess it's not meant to be, when I was caregiving for my grandmother?
Okay, so let me scan on that. It does. It does. It does. It's
so it may have
scanning
not been the right time, but maybe now is the right time, and I have to embrace that's the decision to embrace.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that last part.
Are you getting that maybe then it was not the right timing, but now might be the right timing, and so that would involve the decision that I will have to make?
So the decision. So interesting. The decision is not directly affecting that, but the experience you had with that will play into the decision you need to make. But the decision that's coming through is a crossroad, but it's not directly affecting what it is you're to be doing. It's more about what it is you're to be being, if that makes sense. And it's intentionally that it's not giving me the full details, because it's part of your journey. It's like right now, you're stuck in that forest and you're looking for signs on the tree to give you direction. And the direction is going to come from within yourself. That's what's coming through. Okay, so just trust on that, and then we'll do the group process. And of course, you can always follow up with me outside of this. Daniel will have my contact info on the webpage, so we can carry this conversation later. But it is just know and just recognize the confusion of being in the trees and creating a maze had been so ingrained in your way of being and being in the world and interacting in the world that it's going to feel like a huge decision to try to even consider stopping to do that same activity again or channeling it in a different direction. Just trust it's going to come through. Your heart healer's got you. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So now we've got 2 more people and then time for the group process. So the next person is Peg. I see your name is Peg. If you want to unmute yourself or open up the video, you're welcome to do that as well. So I'm guessing you did not hear the love letter from your heart to yourself. Is that
That's
correct?
right. Yes, that's
Okay.
right. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you on purpose. So if you give me a moment, I'm going to tune in and scan in with your higher self. You raising your hand had given me permission to do a reading, to tune in. Okay. And so what I'm seeing is a whole lot of light. It's like you are the person that is the sunlight, and you shine a lot of light, but the light is only, it's not a 3D light. It's not in all direction. It's a very forward facing light, and it's a brilliant light. It's beautiful. It's like all the flowers will turn on purpose to reach you. But at the same time, a flower is rooted where it's at, so it can't travel to you. It just turns. And so let me see what more of this is about. So it's a selectivity. It's like you choose to shine your light when you choose to do it, and it's not all encompassing. It's a brilliant light as it is, but there's something you're hiding, and a lot of times you use that light to distract people from the actual truth. Okay, so let's see what this is about. So what I'm seeing from your heart space is there's a deep-rooted shame, and that's okay. We're going to release that during the group process. Anyone who has shame deep within them, it'll be released. But there's an element of shame that there's just fear of, if people knew the truth about me, they would not appreciate me as the beautiful being that I am. And that's not true. That is not true. What is true is no matter what experiences you've had, endured, had done to you, it does not matter. You are the most absolutely brilliant being, and you are so beautiful, so beautiful. So that element of shame will get that removed, and it doesn't matter. It actually, having those experiences is the catalyst for compassion, because we know how it can be different and how we can relate to someone else with those experiences. How a lot of times people don't always get compassion until they've been in the moment or had a similar experience. And that's your gift. You being on purpose is that most brilliant, compassionate being. And so what's going to happen is, as we're working and paying attention to our own heart space, that light that you shine outward in front of you, you'll start to bring it back, and it'll come through your heart. It'll remove all that darkness, and it'll all of a sudden, eventually you'll be a full 360-degree light within that.
Wow.
And so that's what's coming through for you. So just let go of that shame. It doesn't matter. It's not your identity. You don't have to hold on to it. Just know that that karmic is done, and you're on your path, and you're what's coming through is a very compassionate heart. You're a compassionate being. So, and that's part of your gift for being here. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. Okay. Last, save the best for last, right? Huh, Jill?
Hi. Thank you.
Hi. Thank you.
I'm sorry I got on late. Yes.
Okay. So you did not hear your heart, your love letter from your own heart. Okay. So let me tune in with you. With your hand raised, it's giving me permission. So my higher self is tuning in with your higher self. So this is interesting. I'm seeing a pool table, a billiard. It's actually a pool table with a bunch of balls, and the cue ball is like, I see what would be a representative of you taking a cue ball and hitting it and scattering the balls everywhere and giggling. And there's a delight in the giggle, and I'm hearing the clacks. So it's like the balls are being bounced off. So let's see. So do you consider yourself a party animal, or did you used to do a lot of partying?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So that's actually really cool. That's what's coming through. So the fact that I'm seeing this pool table is like you bump into people, you lighten them up, you change their trajectory, and then you just go on and you hit this group of people and you change. So you have the amazing capacity to help people get redirected. And I mean redirected more on their path. And that's what's really interesting. And you also have the ability to, sometimes you hit a pool ball in such a way that it continues in a straight line to the preferred destination. And so that's you being on purpose, is someone who will purposely meet people all over the place. And when you meet them, you actually communicate on a subtle realm that you are helping them see, oh, I need to do this. Oh, I need to go in that direction. Or, oh, I need to keep going in this direction. And so that's you on purpose. That's what your heart base is showing me.
Wow. Yeah. So what's really interesting about what you're saying is, like, I have this kind of background sentence that I feel like I'm doing this in quotes, but nobody's listening to me, because I feel like I go like share something like, oh, I just had this great healing today from Heidi Sue and she's really great, you should try it. And I feel like people don't take my advice much. So if I just know that me just telling them is helpful to help them move on in some way, then I'm happy, because I feel like I want to help people, but that it's not really going anywhere.
So a message for you is, do not take responsibility for other people's reaction of you. And this is very timely, because we had a conversation about this earlier. It's like that ball doesn't even, when that ball is hit, and it's very adamant, that's the image I keep seeing, is you are the cue ball, and you hit, and boom, that ball goes in a different direction. Does that cue ball sit there and wonder, okay, did that go? No, it just, okay, who's next? Who's next? Wow. And so there is a perfect pattern in everything that's happening, but you as a human being, being a conduit, being of service, should ideally not take responsibility for how people perceive your messages. And of course, we as human beings, we want validation. We want to communicate, oh, that was great what you did for me. And I admire those people who, see, my special gift is I've always felt I have an issue with self-worth, and I have that within myself, but yet that somehow translates as my special gift for other people. I help them see their own self-worth. And even though I struggle with it. So as a human being, we want those validation, but if we just get out of the way of ourselves and just do what comes through and communicate and not take ownership and not take responsibility, and just know that we are just one of many tools of the divine universe, it makes it easier to just, okay, so that person didn't get it, but maybe that's just not the right time. They'll get it next week or 2 years from now. And then I had someone earlier today, oh, that's funny, because you're the second person that told me this week, whereas she wasn't paying attention to the first person. How many people? We don't know. So that's the beautiful thing about that whole idea of faith and trust, that we are on purpose and we are serving a purpose, even if it doesn't make sense to us or if it doesn't feel good to ourselves.
That is just incredible. Thank you so much for that message. It's really,
thank you.
Really rocking my world right now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hey, Heidi Sue, can I ask a clarifying question that I think might be helpful for Jill, if you can tap in? You said something about how this influence that Jill has is happening at another level.
Yes.
So the impression that I get, Jill, and please, Heidi Sue, correct me if I'm wrong, the impression is you don't need to do anything to create this. Because you said, I like telling people that I learned this and I heard this and I saw this, and this is not what Heidi Sue is talking about. What she is saying is that your being will help direct them. You don't need to do anything to direct them consciously.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does make sense. And like I feel like I am just who I am, and I just in the past few weeks have really just decided that I'm gonna just be who I am and not worry about what they take or don't take. And that's it, it just is. That kind of like, I don't know, raindrops on a flower. It's just here they are. If you want to absorb them, you can have it. If not, that's what I've brought.
Yeah. So one of the things, and let me put myself on spotlight. Heidi, is it okay if I jump in?
Yes, please.
So one of the things that I've struggled with, and it's interesting that Heidi and I, in our last conversation, this came up. One of the things that I've struggled with is, for a long time, I wanted to help others. I wanted to share this. I've seen this, I've done this, I've, go here, follow this person. I just had this conversation, and I'm throwing information out to people because I want to help them. And eventually I realized that I'm not really helping. And what I've stepped into probably in the last couple of years, more so than any other time, is I am living my life and I'm sharing my truth. This is my experience. This is what I have found to be helpful. Now, what you do with that is entirely up to you. And that's my approach. And that's what I'm leaning into is, if you can learn from what I've learned, fabulous. But let me just talk to you about what I've experienced. This is my journey. This is my truth.
Yeah.
I had a wonderful conversation with Heidi Sue. She shared some things that were really powerful for me. Wow, that was really cool. And then let them kind of take that and do whatever it is that they want to do with it. But again, it's really important it was important for me to kind of step in, because I heard what Heidi said and then I heard what you said, and I kind of went, there's a bit of a disconnect here. What Heidi said was, you being who you are is allowing people to redirect themselves regardless of what you say, what you share, what you do. Just being yourself without trying to direct them, without trying to shift them. Your energy is designed to help people find their path. That is who Jill is in this lifetime. Jill being the symbiotic relationship of your soul and your body.
Yes. Right. It's like, without making it sound too out there, but like, just be in my power and know who I am. And in my power, that's where it happens, without the needing to suggest, even though I will still suggest because that's my personality, but I don't have an attachment to what they're doing. It's just, hey, if you like this, fine. But it's really like my higher self, my power, that's being the cue ball.
If the energy feels right for you to share, then absolutely share. I'm not saying don't share, but what I'm kind of attempting to just highlight a little bit is, have a little bit more awareness around the intention behind the share. Have a little bit more conscious awareness of, am I sharing because I'm sharing my story, or am I sharing because I want to help them?
It's always because I want to help them.
But okay, so this is my journey, right? This has been my journey. I can't help anybody else. And when I try and help somebody else, that information gets resisted, because they feel like they feel like I believe they're broken because I'm trying to help you. I'm not trying to help you. I'm no longer trying to help you. If you had spoken to me 10 years ago, I would have told you everything that I feel you need to hear, because I know something that I feel will make you a better person. Where I am now, you are as powerful as anybody else. You are as knowledgeable as anybody else. You are source energy that is the creator of everything that exists. What the hell do you not know? It's impossible for you to be broken. And I don't even think that you're lost. I don't even think that you're misunderstanding yourself anymore. I just simply feel like we're all on a separate journey finding ourselves. I have found aspects of my journey that helped me to find myself. And if I can share those with people when it feels right for me to share them, then I do from a place of love and understanding and a knowing that I'm not here to help you and that you don't need help. You're not broken. None of us are broken. None of us need help. And so when we approach people with that energy, they're much more receptive because their intention, which is what they feel, doesn't have this sense of, ooh, they're trying to help me. They think I'm broken. I'm not broken. Defense. Barrier comes up. Resistance comes up, and it might be really subtle. You know, they might be really kind. They might say, oh, thank you very much. But internally, they're like, you know, reject whatever she said because they think we're broken. And so this has been my journey, and this is why I'm sharing this with you, because I've lived through this, and believe me, this is still a part of the way that I work with people and talk to people. Sometimes this still comes out, but I've spent a lot of time trying to recognize the brilliance of the other person without speaking to them as a broken person. And I'm using that word specifically exaggerating the point, not that you're speaking to others thinking that they're broken, but that you can help them.
Yeah.
So hopefully
totally
this is helpful.
It is. I'm floating in and out of Jill, the personality, and the light being and the higher self, of like sort of Christ consciousness, to, you know, when you're sitting with someone in a car and they're half crying and it's like, well, you know, Jill comes in, not Christ consciousness. I don't see them full of light and not broken when I'm hearing there's something wrong. But it's remembering. It's remembering to go into that place, let them be. And half the time people just want to get stuff off their chest and they just want to be received and acknowledged. And so, yes, I get everything that both of you said, and, you know, it's combining them into application into the real world. So thank you.
Here's the other thing that I want to add to that, right? You don't need to apply it. You don't need to think about it. You don't need to work at it. You don't need to create a lot of noise in your head about, I need to do this, or I need to do this, or all it is all I'm inviting you to do is just to have a little bit more awareness of the intention that you're living in. And what's going to happen, if what happened to me is what will happen to you, is you'll notice these things happen and you'll be more aware of them happening. And as you start to find your own truth from within yourself, then you're going to start speaking from a place of more authenticity. And then the second part of the suggestion takes care of itself.
Nice.
Does that make sense?
I get it. All of it makes sense.
Beautiful.
It's fantastic.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Yes.
Absolutely.
And Heidi Sue, it really like did something. It was just like what I needed to hear right now. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's your heart. And so, Daniel, do we have time to do that group process?
Absolutely. We've got about 20 minutes, so we're good.
All right. Perfect. All right. I love the time. I mean, we started when it was 11:11 my time, and now I see it's 12:12. So I know it's 11:11 somewhere in the Pacific Coast. So I just invite you all for this group process. If you'd like to join in, so go ahead and start by closing your eyes. So closing your eyes and start to intentionally slow down your rhythmic breathing, your breathing of your inhale. Pausing for a moment. Exhaling a deep cleansing breath. And then intentionally repeat the cycle with a deep inhale And if you're able to pause, a good count of up to 4, 2, 3, 4, then exhaling out. And as you are starting to intentionally slow down your breathing, you recognize there's another heartbeat way off in the distance. And this is the heartbeat of the universe. So you are slowing your breathing down, and then your heartbeat starts to slow down, and you want to bring it into alignment with the heartbeat of the universe. And now feel your shoulders dropping, relaxing, letting your neck to release the tension. Continue with your deep inhale, pausing and exhaling. Feel the muscles start to relax. And now imagine your awareness is scattered in all different places. Your awareness is pieces of you in the past. If you've made future plans, there's pieces of you in the future. And from all the things, activities you have done, the experiences you have experienced, the events you have experienced, and the relationships you have, bring your awareness. Those are pieces of you. Pull it back from all of those people, places, and events, and imagine your awareness coming completely inside your physical body structure. So calling all of your awareness back to you, within you. And now, imagine that you are starting to form your grounding cord, and it's starting to form out from the base of your spine, and it starts to build out and down. So the circumference, the width of your grounding cord is wider than your hips, and going through the surface that you're sitting on, going through the floor, and it starts to build out and down. It can be any substance you want it to be, as long as it's got flexibility and sway. And as it's working its way down, it meets the surface of the earth, and Mother Earth lovingly welcomes your grounding cord to come through the surface layer, through the soil, your brilliant light that you are, building it out and down. And then the Mother Earth, the loving Earth, opens up the center of the heart of Earth, which is the ball of light. And in that center of the earth, in that magnificent ball of light, you're going to connect your other end of the grounding cord into that light. And now you feel held. You are connected from the base of your spine into the center of the earth. And this is a transmutation plant. So this is where it helps to release and transmute things that are not supporting you. And so now, as you are connected to the earth, lovingly held by the earth, way up above your head is a vortex. And a vortex is a funnel cloud, almost like a little mini tornado cloud, spinning counterclockwise. And it starts to come down towards the earth. It finds your brilliant aura with perfect precision, and it starts to circle and circle you, and it's always spinning counterclockwise. Some people call this moonwise, and it works its way down, surrounding your head, your shoulders, surrounding your chest, your abdomen, surrounding your hips, your legs, and also surrounds your grounding cord, following that all the way down into that same magnificent ball of light, tucking the tail end of that vortex cloud into the ball of light as well. And as this vortex is spinning counterclockwise, it is working as a suctioning, vacuuming effect. It's vacuuming, pulling out all things that are not yours, not for your highest good, that which no longer serves you, negative emotions, All of that is being pulled out and going down into the ball of light. This technique helps to release those negative emotions, the frustration that we may feel, the confusion that we may feel, the anger that we may feel, and this responsibly pulls it down to be transmuted into the ball of light instead of spewing out. So this activity alone is a wonderful technique for pulling out the things in your environment no longer supporting you, not yours, and not for your highest good. Drawing it down, draining it down, releasing it into the ball of light for instantaneous transmutation. And now we will keep the vortex up and running for now. And now imagine yourself standing in front of your heart. You are a teeny, teeny, tiny person standing in front of your heart. This brilliant heart that is yours. This most magnificent piece of you here on earth. And you recognize there's a little door there that's inviting you, that's welcoming you. So go ahead and imagine yourself opening up that door, stepping across the threshold, closing the door behind you. You are now in your sacred heart space. The walls are beating in alignment, in coherence with the heartbeat of the universe. Magnificent. So make your way back into this sacred sanctuary. This is your heart space. And this is always a space that you can come back to anytime. And it's a sacred space. And this is where you become aligned with the conduit of divine, unconditional love. And you are in your heart space. And as you are settling in, the golden grid grace light comes from above you. A divine conduit of unconditional love comes from above you, comes through you, through your feet, through the heart, through the earth, on into infinity. Another golden beam, grid grace light, the divine conduit of unconditional love comes from one side of you, comes in you, connect with the first beam at your heart conversion point, and then continues on out the other side, on into infinity. And then the third golden beam, grid grace light, come from above you, come from in front of you, come towards you, connect with the two beams at your heart conversion point, continues on out the back of you, on into infinity. And you are held in the divine conduit of unconditional love. And now at your heart conversion point, the center point where all three beings meet at your heart center point of you, imagine the light becoming brighter and more centered within your being. And now just keep breathing into that heart conversion point, and the heart healers will be coming in. So just keep breathing and breathe as your heart is its own organ with its own set of lungs. Just keep breathing from your heart space, breathing in unconditional love and acceptance, and releasing any blockages from the heart, from you recognizing your own brilliant self. I'm going to be silent for a moment. I just want you to please breathe through your heart. And then I will check back in. You may feel some movement. Just keep breathing. Keep breathing in that light. Releasing anything, any dust, dirt, and debris. Now, the heart healers are coming in and polishing up that beautiful light that is inside your heart space. And this is the piece that you just being, just your presence is light of itself. And people receive messages that for their highest good when you are just present within your heart space. This is validation that you don't need to say anything. You don't need to do anything. You just need to breathe and be. And within your heart space, within that beautiful light that you are, that's creating from the spark of divine unconditional love. So just keep breathing. The heart healers are coming in and working in that space. And now, imagine a mirror, a beautiful mirror in front of you. And this mirror, whether you can see it, sense it, feel it, or just know it, have the mirror reflect to you the message of you as your brilliant self in the moment. Embrace that brilliant self that you are. This is you. You cannot deny your own brilliance. You are so beautiful in this essence. You are purposefully here, whether you acknowledge it or recognize it. You are on purpose right now. And now, in this moment, I'd like for you to choose a word that when you hear this word, you recognize that you are in your brilliant, on-purpose self. There can be any word of your choice. It's your code word for you and your heart and the heart healers, and they will know to show this word to you. And it's okay if it doesn't make sense. If it makes you want to laugh and giggle, that's perfect. No one else needs to know your word, just you. And you can actually let go of the meaning of what that word is in defined terms, because you're assigning your own meaning to this word. And maybe a word you just like the sound of it, or the vibration just has you feeling uplifted. And the heart healers will soon transmit the meaning of that word so that your heart, whenever it feels the resonance of that word, will light up, reminding you of you being on purpose in the moment. You're always on purpose, but some of us need those little reminders to help us with our human ego that yes, we as a vehicle with all of its beautiful ego need the reminders that we are a magnificent light being, providing light to the world around us. Nice. And so now, step forward from within your heart space and open your eyes as if you are looking out in the world from your heart space. You may see things differently. You may feel things differently. You may feel inspiration, creativity, but just an amazing, blissful peace. This is what it's like to see with the eyes of your heart. So now go ahead and close your eyes again. And assimilating on all levels to just keep breathing. The act of breathing is what helps cement us within our divine self. Okay. And so now we're going to slowly return to this here now physical moment. And as we are doing this, we're going to start to drop that vortex, dropping that vortex, dropping it from above, let it drop down, going down, away from you, down into the ball of light. Dropping the vortex, feeling the golden divine bliss, love of unconditional love coming from above, coming down inside of you. This liquid gold element coming inside of you and expanding outward, expanding your aura outward, filling it up with the beautiful light that you are, cleansed, cleared, and purified. Expanding it outwards, giving immense thanks to all the beings on all the realm, to heart healers, our guardian, divine spirit, this channel, Daniel, for providing this platform, and for all of us here together, recognizing the divine truth of ourselves and recognizing the divine truth of others here to support us. And now placing a mirror a thin mirror on the outer edges of your auric boundaries. And what this mirror does, it reflects back the love, and only highest vibrational love comes through, and people can see and feel and embrace the radiant love that there is, and all things that are not ours, not for our highest good, that which is no longer serving us, is being easily released, going down into the ball of light for transmutation. So go ahead and wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, come back into this here now space. Take another nice deep breath in, and then exhaling, opening up your eyes, and rejoining all of us together in this here now moment. And may you feel the bliss of your presence. And I love you all. Thank you. So, thank you, Janice, for the chat. Thank you. Daniel, any other ideas, thoughts, feedback? You're welcome, Kristen.
We are a little bit over time, so I want to apologize to the listeners, as I always do. I'm going to go a little bit longer. There's something that came to me earlier, and I want to share that, but I want to share that a little bit later because I don't want to interfere with the energy of what you just did. So I would love to use this time as we're settling back into ourselves after that wonderful journey, to kind of talk about how people can get a hold of you, to talk about the invitation that you're offering people that are listening to the program, specifically the season 5 listeners. But again, it's the same invitation that you had for season 3. So if you happen to be listening to this recording afterwards and you're interested in working with Heidi Sue, please reach out to her, let her know that you're coming in through the Channeling Spirit Virtual Summit platform and work something out with her. But on the website, you'll see that I've posted the link for her Facebook page. I tend not to like putting email addresses in websites because of the robots that steal them and then use them for spam and other purposes. So within the special invitation, I do have her email address written out kind of phonetically. For those that are listening, the kind of after the fact. The website, sorry, the email address for you to get in touch with her is heartspaceexplorer@gmail.com. heartspaceexplorer@gmail.com. And if for whatever the reason that doesn't work within any platform that you're listening to this, I will have her link to her Facebook page. You can reach out to her through there, and make sure that you mention CSVS or Channeling Spirit platform so that she knows not to ignore your message because of all of the junk that we all get from people that are trying to do stuff with us. So Heidi Sue, thank you for that. Is there anything that you would like to share or add about working with you and how people can connect with you?
So thank you for that opportunity. I'm just feeling the bliss, and it's really neat that when we are on purpose, doing our purpose work, that bliss is not just an occasional experience that we have. It starts to become more regular for each and every one of us. It's not something someone does for you or a healer you listen to. It's something that's coming from within yourself when you give yourself in those moments. And so, yes, if you want to contact with me, have more of a dialogue, I'm up for that. But Daniel, I would love to come back. I really love this platform. I believe in you. And I'm just very appreciative of this platform that you provide. And I love your word, your guidance, your point. You do have a way of communicating point better than I do. So thank you for that.
That's very sweet. Thank you. So thank you for the invitation. What I wanted to add to the group, which came to me a couple of times while Heidi was speaking to you guys. So hopefully this resonates with more than just one of you. When we are following the energy and we feel like we're on point and we're motivated, and all of a sudden we lose our motivation, a lot of us tend to get judgmental of ourselves and say, oh, what's wrong? What happened? I was so motivated. Now I can't do it. And then we force ourselves to keep going. And what I'm learning more and more as I listen to Spirit talk about following the energy, one of the things that really resonated with me was the idea that if something loses its energy, it doesn't mean that that's a failure. What it means is that that process built something in you that's preparing you for the next step, but that there's no more need to continue on that specific path because the next step is somewhere else. And that really resonated with me. And so it came up a couple times in my mind as Heidi was speaking with a couple of you. So I wanted to share that invitation to really start paying attention to the energy that excites you, that motivates you, that interests you, follow your passion. And when that energy dissipates for whatever the reason, respect that, honor it. If you want to continue just kind of challenging it to see if it reawakens, please do so. But don't feel like you need to force yourself to continue. Trust that there's a reason that the energy dimmed down in that area, and take a moment, go quiet, listen, pay attention, be aware, and allow the next step to reveal itself, because it will awaken that same energy in a different direction. And so I am trying to do that as best as I can. And you'll notice that the season 2 recordings from Channeling Spirit Virtual Summit, I've been saying that I was going to do them for almost 6 months now, saying it's going to come, it's going to come, it's going to come. I actually posted them about a week ago. And I was honoring the fact that I wasn't motivated to do it. I simply just wasn't motivated to do it. I know that I should, for a lot of marketing reasons and communication reasons and promises that I made to the listeners, but I didn't feel the energy to do it. And so I honored that within myself. And last week I felt, okay, I need to do this. And so I sat down and dealt with some technical issues on my computer that were frustrating, and relearned how to use the software and found out that plugins that I was using are no longer working, and went through that whole process. But I never lost my motivation to continue because it felt right for me to continue. And so I'm just bringing this up as an invitation for all of us to continue learning how to follow the energy more and more, because we will always learn how to do that more effectively. There's no end to our growth. There's no end to our learning. There's no destination that's solid, because when we get there, we're going to realize that there's more beyond that. There's always more beyond any destination that we might set in our minds. So follow the energy with love, with compassion, with patience, with allowing, with listening, with connecting. Sometimes the best step to do is not to take a step. Sometimes the best choice to make is not to make a choice. When it's obvious, we will know. When it's choiceless, we know that it's right. If there's doubt, if there's indecision, chances are very high that the timing for that decision isn't right, and it's trying to be forced, because our human wants to do things quickly and wants to jump in and wants to get involved and let's get moving. And a lot of times part of it is slowing down, just allowing the energy to reveal itself, to make itself clear, make itself known. And many times we're so busy with our doing and practicing and exercising and techniques and actions that we forget to slow down and just listen for the next step to reveal itself. So hopefully that's helpful for you guys. Sorry for running really late. Heidi Sue, thank you for your love, your support, your wisdom, your connection with the heart angels, heart guardians, heart healers, whoever they are, whatever they are.
The heart healers.
So thank you so much for everything. You are obviously welcome to come back. I'm honored to have you here, and I love playing with you.
Thank you.
So for those of you that are able to join me for the next live session, that is going to be at the top of the hour in 20-ish minutes. Zach Sakbe, fascinating guy. Really excited to listen to him talk. Very animated channeler, who channels an energy that is, again, very animated. And he came into my experience pretty unexpectedly. So I'm excited about this new connection, excited to share him with you guys. So come back and listen if you can, or listen to the recording if you're unable to join live. So until then, I will leave you guys with being spirit, being human, and simply being from love. And I'll talk to you guys all very soon.
Thank you.
Thank you for being part of this incredible experience. We hope that this session has inspired a new level of understanding within you, allowing you to expand more easily into the essence of your true self and become an even more powerful alchemist in your own life. We invite you to listen to the session again and again in order to go deeper each time and expand even more. Have it be via the replays or the unlimited access package. If you have enjoyed being part of this event, we invite you to tell your friends so that they can join us in the future. We are grateful that you are here, and we thank you for co-creating this experience with us. Until next time, we leave you with being spirit, being human, and simply being from love.